Howdy guys, it's Joe, and last time in the video I asked you guys to vote in the comment section down below who you wanted to see, and we happened to get Sombra, the most voted character. So, if you want to see any character in a future video, you can do a similar thing, vote in the comment section down below, and whoever gets the most likes, I'm going to talk about. Now, as well with that, if you want a video of one of these calibers, you know, a VOD review about pretty much any character, click at the card at the top right of the screen right now and you'll be able to see that. And if you have anything else that you want to make sure that I read or anything like that, make sure to press that notification button. There we go. Anyways, today we're talking about Sombra, and overall, you know, I've kind of gone from a person that doesn't like Sombra that much to a person that actually really appreciates how, you know, decent she can do and how she can actually win a lot of games. We see a ton of top 500 Sombras right now, so I guess that's a really good sign. And overall, I feel like she's good because she's anti-dive. Personally, I do like her a lot more on defense, and I do like her a lot on 2CP. You know, some other maps are okay, but this is where I feel like she really shines. And we're going to see a lot of that right here. He does so much on defense as Sombra. Yeah, I feel like it's quite nice. Again though, like previous videos, I'm mainly going to just be talking about main tips that I see from his gameplay, and main great things that I see this guy doing. Now, let's just start it off. I want to say, if you don't know this, and if you aren't practicing this, you can go one Sombra with 2 supports or 1 support. And this is where you're really going to have to kind of build your comp. If you're going with 2 supports, you can play a little bit more aggro, try to get more damage out, try to get more clutch hacks. While if you're playing with one other support, you probably want to play more safely with your hacks. You want to make sure that you always have your health packs up. And you just kind of have to think, what side of the spectrum do you think is going to work better? And, you know, if you feel like you're on 2CP on defense, maybe you could happen to go with 2 supports and last a little bit longer. While if you're on offense, you could say, maybe we don't need as much sustain. We can go with 1, you know, we can get some health packs, we can go in there. It's really up to you, but that's as far as that goes, and that's why I feel like this guy does pretty well, because his team actually, you know, kind of actually thinks about that, and he plays likewise. That's one of the first things they talked about. Now, to another point that I really like about him is that he also calls out when people are about to die. A lot of the times in Overwatch, you just kind of get overwhelmed with information, or you just don't really know what's going on, or maybe your teammates aren't going in and getting all the kills you feel like they should be. If you call out who's about to die and who's at really low health, which you can easily do with Sombra because of her passive, that's a good idea. That can get you a lot of kills, and that can mainly just finish off a lot of people and, you know, get focus on your team. All those things added together, make sure to try to go for that. Now, something different. You know, hack and diva is an important thing. It's something that you should be doing a lot because stopping damage, I guess, is one of the most important things you can do. However, before you go into hack the diva, please make sure to have your translocator very far back, get the hack off, and then, you know, try to get as much damage as you can and then teleport back to it. So often I see people, for some reason or other, not having their translocator down on the ground. Instead, they just hack the diva, then throw it and try to teleport to it, and somebody can usually easily follow up and kill you. Don't do that. Don't give the enemies a chance to do that. And as we see, this person always puts down his translocator whenever he possibly can, so do the same yourself. A thing you might want to think about translocator as well, though, is that you don't have to put it right next to health packs. If there are no, you know, easy health packs that you can reach, you can put it anywhere else you possibly can. I feel like a lot of people just kind of obsess over having to put it next to health packs, and then they just don't throw it at all, and then they have to use it in the middle of a fight, and it's not nearly as good. Yeah, that's not something that you should probably be trying to do. Now, as far as ultimate use, what I've been seeing as far as, you know, this guy's play is 2 different ways to use it. One way is, you know, straightforward. He's standing right next to his team, and the enemy team is right in front of him. Pretty much like 2 brick walls. He goes for his ult and gets as many people as he can. And the second way is to actually flank around the enemy team, go around the right side, and then ult and get as many people as he possibly can. The one thing that I don't see this guy doing is jumping into the middle of the enemy team and ulting, because while it is pretty good, and while it works pretty decently, if there's not very many people targeting you, as we saw right there, for the most part, if there's a lot of people alive, they're just gonna pick you off, especially if you forgot to put your translocator down, or if you just get stunned, or if you just get silenced, or if anything happens to you, or if a Hanzo happens to hit an arrow, you're gonna die. Don't do that. Just go around the side, go, you know, in the front with your team, play it safe, and play it really smart. Yeah, I think that's a pretty important thing. Now, something else that I also really like is that this guy goes around the back quite a bit, invisible. You know, people aren't noticing him way too much, you know, it's okay. And then he doesn't always just try to 100% finish off his kills. A lot of the times, if he goes around the back and he knows that he can't finish the kill, he'll just translocate back. And a lot of the times, he's just trying to get as much damage as possible to get his ultimate as fast as possible, and then teleport back. Just because you aren't, getting effective kills with Sombra doesn't mean that you aren't charging your ult, and doesn't mean that you aren't forcing people back, that you're stopping their abilities. You want to remember that. And it's probably a thing that'll save you a little bit of time and actually give you something to do, while a lot of times other Sombras would just be kind of sitting there. And especially since you can go invisible, there's no reason to really not do this. One thing that you probably shouldn't do this though, versus Hanzos or versus, I guess, anybody who could one-shot headshot you. What we saw earlier in this game that I cut out quite a bit is that Torb, we kept having the Sombra player fight the Torb. Torb kept one-shotting you. Dang, that's not very good. And then later on you decided, I'm just not going to fight the Torb, not going to be one-shot, and that's probably what you should be doing. Don't try to fight people who can one-shot you easily, for the one purpose being you can't teleport out of there very easily. If you get one-shot, your translocator's just dang useless. You can't save yourself at all, you can't do jack. So again, make sure to pick your fights smartly, and make sure to not try to fight people that can kill you instantly. I feel like this is one of the characters, everybody suffers with dying instantly, but this is a character that can avoid death quite easily, and you want to try to use that as much as you humanly possibly can. Now, some other stuff, we see a great ult right here, actually. He'll be able to pick off quite a bit of them, and his team can just finish off a lot of people. We see great aim as well, just wanted to mention that. I'm not going to say it's bad at all. But one thing that I also like is that, for the majority of the time, we see a lot of medium to far range shots, and often we don't see the Sombra player trying to just shove his gun into people's heads and try to take them out very quickly. Now, while this can work, and especially against people with, slower damage, I feel like the problem with it is that, again, it makes it so that you're going to die before you can translocate. And as well with that, you do have a decent amount of medium range damage that can get a lot of pokes. Now, of course, if you do want to just get picks, you're going to probably have to shove your face in like we saw right there, but otherwise, you can actually stay further away than you normally think you could be. You're actually kind of like a medium range as far as your damage, sometimes. If you want to get those effective kills, of course, you want to be close range. But yeah, if you're just trying to, pick off as much damage as you can, don't happen to just shove your face into them if you're just trying to, maybe charge your ult or anything like that. I feel like a lot of people do that, and a lot of people just kind of get picked, and it sucks for them. That's not good. Now, a thing that we want to talk about as far as this game goes is, of course, the enemy team has a Zen. That's good news for you, obviously, as Sombra. I'd say Sombra fighting against Zen, and maybe Mercy at some points, are like your best people to fight against. Mercy, because you can stop all of their mobility, and of course Zen, because if you hack him with your ult, he goes down to 50 HP. So please, if you're playing against Zen, and he hasn't already ulted, ult, take him out, you're up 1 kill. It's, of course, one of the easiest things that everybody knows, but yeah, make sure to do that. Now, again, something that's a little bit different is that this player is not afraid to waste invis to get to his target faster. I see a lot of people just like walking close to their target, trying to get it without invis because they want to save it to use it later. You shouldn't have to really do that way too much. Its cooldown isn't honestly way too long, and especially if you have your translocator down, you can use it pretty liberally. So I'd say maybe just use that ability a bit more if you're not really using it at all right now. Again, one thing I want to remind you guys, because I just wrote this down for some reason, make sure that you don't ult right on enemies. Do it next to them. I feel like that's something that is definitely important and that is ignored so often. Of course, there are certain situations, as with everything in this game, where it is applicable, but for the most part, you probably shouldn't be doing that. It does have the highest chance of hitting the most people, but also has the highest chance of you dying. We see right here a lot of really nice poke in the background. Of course, a pretty nice thing to do. No reason, again, to not do that, and of course, worked out pretty well this time. Now, here's a few last things that I want to say that should just be major reminders for you guys. First off, please call out in chat who you are hacking or who you have hacked so that your team can kill the people with the hack pretty easily. Especially if it's like a Zen and then you have like a Genji or a Tracer on your team. If you call out that that guy only has 50 HP, they're probably going to go for him. While otherwise, they just might not know that he's such low HP. It's a nice thing to do. As well with that, make sure to hack the enemy health packs whenever you possibly have the chance. Try to walk around behind them, hack them, stop them from getting heals. Of course, this allows your team to engage a lot further, allows your team to heal a lot further, and stops them. As well with this, you should probably just invis in, hack, and then teleport out. There we go. That's really all you have to do. Just dies right there in the stupidest way possible. Unfortunate, but it happens to the best of us. Of course, takes out that teleporter. Another thing that I also want to say, though, as far as watching this guy, is that he goes for upper body headshots, and, you know, mainly just for the upper body, and not directly for the top of the head. I'm going to say that's a good idea to do with most characters, but especially with Sombra, because their aim's a little bit more janky than other characters. Please just go for like the torso and the lower part of their head, their neck, I guess, if you want to say that. Just don't aim straight at the top of their head, as you're going to miss a ton of shots and just lose out at a ton of damage. It's going to be not that good for you. As a final thing, though, that I want to tell you guys is that on offense, a really weird strategy that you guys can do is actually tell your team to take damage, put down, well, I guess, hack a mega health pack, and have your team, you know, with the damage, walk into the mega health pack again and again and again, get your ult really quickly, and then ult onto the point and, you know, get a free win. That's a pretty good strategy that you can use quite often, and not really way too hard to use, and it's something that I've had many Sombras on my team use. Again, just have your team take damage, you know, get an ultra health pack, and get your ult really early. That's especially good on offense, and while it can work on defense, I'd say offense is probably the better thing to do, and then just make sure your team's all together, whatever from there. But that's in general all I'm going to say about this guy. I feel like he's really good at the character, and one of the better Sombras that I've seen. Of course, Cody's the Sombra everybody likes to talk about, but there are other Sombras, and there are other ones in top 500 and Grandmaster and everywhere. I feel like they should all really be talked about just to see how different their gameplay really works. Anyways, as always, guys, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like. If you didn't, I guess don't. And as always, guys, have a wonderful day.